The Red Death. Imagine a Batman so haunted by guilt and loss that he'd do anything, literally anything, to bring his world back from the edge. On Earth -52, that grim possibility became real. When Bruce Wayne saw his world crumbling, despite years of heroic effort, he grew desperate. Each of his loyal partners fell in battle, leaving him utterly alone. The sorrow festered until mercy felt like a luxury he could no longer afford. Desperate for a way to rewrite his dying planet's fate, he turned to his world's Barry Allen, the Flash, and begged for a share of that Speed Force power. Barry refused, sensing Bruce's emotional instability. But refusal only fueled Batman's determination. In a horrifying twist, Bruce chained Barry to a redesigned Batmobile fused with the cosmic treadmill, forcing them both into the Speed Force. A sudden, blinding collision fused them into one entity. Bruce emerged as the Red Death, carrying Barry's consciousness deep inside him. He'd gained superhuman speed, but lost the moral compass that once guided him. His first act was to slaughter the remnants of his rogues gallery, ignoring Barry's pleas echoing within his mind. Even then, his brand new powers couldn't save his collapsing Earth. When the Batman Who Laughs arrived with an offer of salvation, Bruce latched onto this twisted lifeline. What else was there to lose? With chaotic, speed-driven powers at his disposal, the Red Death unleashed devastation across the multiverse. In one infamous strike, he attacked Central City, summoning a speed storm that aged civilians to dust within seconds. Yet, as unstoppable as he seemed, the Red Death was still a man torn by guilt and overshadowed by cosmic forces beyond his control. But speed was only the beginning of the madness. While the Red Death personified Bruce Wayne's grief-driven violence, the next dark Batman proved that the thirst for power could become a godlike addiction. The Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. Long ago, Bruce Wayne endured a psychological experiment orchestrated by the nefarious Dr. Simon Hurt. Unbeknownst to him, that experiment left a hidden trigger deep in his psyche, waiting to activate if his mind ever reached a breaking point. The result was the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, a persona stripped of Bruce Wayne's usual restraint, dancing on the edge between genius and insanity. In its earliest interpretation, Zur-En-Arrh was tied to an alien scientist named Tano who idolized Batman, even gifting him a strange device called the Bat Radio. On Tano's planet, the sun's energy granted Batman powers almost identical to Superman's, allowing for an over-the-top team-up against colossal robotic invaders. But the real shock came when Bruce returned to Earth and discovered that Zur-En-Arrh wasn't just an alien locale, it was his mental backup plan, a hidden identity waiting for the day Bruce's mind snapped like a frayed wire. When Dr. Hurt launched a massive assault on Bruce, physically, mentally, spiritually, he activated that trigger. Suddenly, Bruce found himself wandering Gotham's streets in a garish, brightly colored suit. His memories were fractured, yet the primal instincts of the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh kept him on the move, forging bizarre weapons and employing the Bat Radio to jam security systems. He refused to stand down or reason with criminals. This was Batman stripped raw, a relentless hunter who didn't care about reputations, public image, or even self-preservation. To this day, fans debate whether the Zur-En-Arrh persona might appear again, potentially surfacing whenever Bruce faces a catastrophic mental blow. Some speculate that we could see him in a future DC arc where Dr. Hurt or another puppet master tries to manipulate Bruce's psyche. Regardless, it's clear that Batman's greatest weakness may not be external threats, but the unstoppable chaos brewing inside his own mind. But if you think one hidden persona is unnerving, wait until you meet a Batman who thrives on an entirely different kind of corruption, one that rules a whole world through fear and manipulation. Owlman of Earth 3 is infamous for its reversed morality, a place where heroes are villains and justice is just another tool for domination. In this twisted reality, Thomas Wayne Jr. survived while Bruce and Martha Wayne met their gruesome ends. Resentful and fueled by cold ambition, Thomas Jr. emerged as Owlman, a cunning overlord who forged alliances with Gotham's most dangerous criminals. His strategic brilliance was rumored to come from a relentless regimen of specialized drugs that heightened his intellect at the cost of his humanity. Where the mainstream Bruce Wayne harnesses logic for defending Gotham, Owlman used his gifts to control it. He formed a pact with Boss Gordon, an utterly corrupt version of Commissioner Gordon, and led the crime syndicate of America alongside an equally ruthless band of tyrants. His vision for Gotham was total domination, sustained by a careful balance of terror and subservience. One of the most scandalous rumors involves Owlman's secret affair with Superwoman, the malicious counterpart to Wonder Woman and Ultraman's partner. Their romance was as much a ploy for power as it was an act of twisted passion. By keeping her close, Owlman aimed to manipulate Ultraman, ensuring the brute force force of the Syndicate always needed his strategic mind. Yet behind his stoic facade, Owlman wrestled with a deep-seated loathing for his father, Thomas Wayne Sr., who had become commissioner in this dark reality. Their feud spanned across rooftops and alleys, each blaming the other for the destruction of the Wayne family. During a rare visit to the main DC universe, Owlman stood before the graves of Bruce and Martha Wayne, momentarily stripped of his ruthless composure. Was it regret, or simply a fleeting memory of the life he might have had? But even that twisted mind has competition, because the next Batman variant had no time for chess-like maneuvering. His transformation was raw, savage, and terrifyingly unstoppable. The Merciless once he fought side by side with Wonder Woman to topple the warmongering god Ares. On Earth-12, this version of Bruce Wayne believed in justice, even if it meant waging a 2-year campaign against the god of war himself. But the moment Diana fell, at least so it appeared, something inside Bruce snapped. In a fit of anguish, he ignored her final warnings and placed Ares' helmet upon his own head. Stepping into the role of a deity should never be taken lightly. The war god's helmet didn't just amplify Bruce's strength, it fed on his anger, magnifying every violent impulse 100-fold. His moral boundaries dissolved in an instant. Bruce murdered Ares, then set his sights on friend and foe alike. Even when Wonder Woman revealed she'd survived, it was too late. The helmet had done its work. Bruce had become the Merciless, an unstoppable tyrant who saw mercy itself as a sign of weakness. No kingdom or pantheon stood safe from his wrath. Armed with mystical artifacts seized from the gods, he led an onslaught that toppled entire civilizations. Rumors suggest he even desecrated Olympus, forcing the spirits of fallen Amazons to serve him for eternity. There's no official record of exactly how many he slaughtered, but the stories say entire continents fell under his power. The moment the Batman Who Laughs offered him a chance to carve a new path of carnage across the multiverse, the Merciless didn't hesitate. After all, what more fitting playground for a god of war than countless universes waiting to be conquered? Yet even a god of war can't hold a monopoly on fear, because somewhere else in the dark tapestry of possibilities, there's a Batman who lost everything and made a single tragic choice that split his family apart forever. Flashpoint Batman. In a different timeline, fate dealt the Waynes a cruel hand. Instead of losing his parents that fateful night, young Bruce was the one who died, shot by a panicked mugger's bullet. Thomas Wayne, a respected doctor, crumbled under the grief. He hunted down the mugger, beat him to death, and emerged from the ordeal wearing a new, more violent mantle, the Batman of the Flashpoint timeline. Thomas Wayne had no illusions about moral codes or second chances. Criminals were scum to be eliminated, a plague that needed a swift cure. Funded by his thriving Wayne casinos, Thomas ruled Gotham's underworld from the shadows, aided by a reluctant alliance with Jim Gordon as police chief and Oswald Cobblepot as head of casino security. But tragedy followed him everywhere. His wife Martha sank into madness, carving a sickening grin into her cheeks and becoming that world's Joker. In one horrifying act, she even killed a young thief named Catwoman, who Thomas had been mentoring. Love and hope barely existed in this universe. It was only the arrival of Barry Allen, the Flash, that offered Thomas a fleeting chance at redemption. Barry spoke of a reality where Bruce lived, where his son became the Batman we know. Despite skepticism, Thomas agreed to help restore the true timeline, believing his own reality might be beyond saving, but hoping Barry could secure Bruce's survival in another world. Tragically, Thomas's efforts ended in a final sacrifice, or so he thought. Fate, however, had other plans. The Reverse Flash intervened, keeping Thomas alive and hurling him into a labyrinth of multiversal plots. At times he allied with Bane, at others he turned on him. Above all, he sought to convince Bruce to abandon the cowl. Some believe Thomas did so out of a twisted fatherly love. Others argue he simply couldn't bear to see Batman's lonely crusade continue. Either way, his story is a barrage of contradictions. Love turned to brutality, paternal instincts fighting cold pragmatism, and yet the darkest corners of the mind can be even more unpredictable. Because hidden within Bruce Wayne himself is a persona so erratic it doesn't need a broken timeline to emerge. It only needs a trigger. The Devastator. Every Batman fears a day when Superman stops standing for truth and justice. On Earth-1, that nightmare became real. One day, Superman, driven by unknown influences, snapped, killing Lois Lane and embarking on a spree of destruction. Bruce believed he could reason with his old friend, but it was too late. Their confrontation ended with Bruce losing an arm and nearly his life. Yet Batman had a fallback plan unlike any other. A modified doomsday virus he'd hoped never to use. With no options left, left, he injected himself, allowing his body to mutate into a monstrous fusion of Batman's strategic genius and Doomsday's catastrophic might. The transformation was instant. Regenerating his severed arm, he overpowered Superman in a merciless battle, ultimately driving a jagged spike through the Man of Steel's heart. Victory, however, carried a lethal side effect. The virus spread across the planet, turning ordinary citizens into raging Doomsday-like creatures, eventually reducing Earth-1 to a state beyond salvation. That was the moment the Batman Who Laughs appeared, promising a grander purpose in the Dark Knights. With no future left at home, Bruce accepted, becoming the Devastator, a plague upon any world he set foot on. When he arrived on Earth Zero, the devastation was nearly immediate. Metropolis fell under siege as the Doomsday virus infected the populace at an alarming rate. Even iconic heroes like Steel and Supergirl struggled to halt the monstrous tide. Ultimately, advanced technology and alliances from across the multiverse managed to slow the infection. Yet the terror of the Devastator remained a brutal testament to Batman's potential for unstoppable violence when cornered by betrayal. As one world falls, another horror waits in the shadows, an unimaginable fusion of Batman's mind and the Joker's unbridled insanity. The Batman Who Laughs. If there's one figure who stands out among all the twisted Batmen, it's the Batman Who Laughs. He's the mastermind who lurks behind the worst nightmares, orchestrating chaos across countless worlds. Born when the Joker of Earth-22 unleashed a final horrifying plan on Gotham, his creation story reads like a cautionary tale for every hero who dares to love. Dying from his own chemical affliction, that Joker decided to leave a legacy by forcing Batman to watch unspeakable atrocities. The clown unleashed lethal toxins across the city, murdered the entire GCPD, melted Commissioner Gordon in acid, and turned orphaned children into Jokerized drones. Finally, in a moment of pure torment, the Joker made Batman witness the senseless murder of a couple, echoing the crime that took his own parents. Batman snapped, killing the Joker in a rage so profound that he didn't notice the clown's final trick, a toxin that seeped into Batman's lungs the moment the Joker died. Within days, Bruce Wayne was no more. He fully embraced the Joker's unhinged perspective, retaining all his intellect, but warping it with sadistic glee. He murdered heroes, consumed his own world in chaos, and led a small army of Dark Robins, those poor children the Joker had corrupted. His reign of terror caught the attention of a cosmic being named Barbatos, who recognized in the Batman Who Laughs a prime candidate to help plunge the multiverse into permanent darkness. From that point on, the Batman Who Laughs became a constant threat, infiltrating other realities, capturing heroes and twisting them into reflections of himself. His unpredictability and strategic brilliance made him a top-tier villain, one capable of battling entire teams of heroes at once. Even the mightiest defenders of the multiverse found themselves outmaneuvered by his sick, calculated games. Fans continue to speculate. Does he still linger in the dark corners of continuity, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again? And just when reality itself seems beyond saving, we discover an even more cosmic abomination. A Batman who dares to wield the powers of a god, only to become a puppet for an even darker master. Batman Hatton, Bruce Wayne has an insatiable drive to uncover secrets, a trait that once led him straight into the path of the comedian's button, a mysterious artifact brimming with cosmic energy. Fascinated by the potential hidden inside this glowing device, Bruce constructed an intrinsic field generator, hoping to replicate and analyze the power associated with Dr. Manhattan. But curiosity is a double-edged sword. As he stepped into the chamber for a closer look, a hidden hand intervened, the Batman Who Laughs, who sealed the door and flipped the switch. Instantly, Bruce's body disintegrated in a burst of raw cosmic force. It should have been certain death, but refusing to let go, Bruce painstakingly reassembled himself molecule by molecule over countless months, rebirthing himself as something akin to Dr. Manhattan, a being unbound by time, gravity, or common sense. He could reshape matter, rebuild himself at will, and see reality as threads of possibility. Batman Hatton was born. Before Bruce could comprehend his godlike abilities, the Batman Who Laughs struck again, using a specialized energy blade to lobotomize him. Imagine a cosmic deity, unstoppable in power, yet shackled by a corrupt mind-controlling device. That was Batman Hatton's fate, a living weapon forcibly directed by those who saw the multiverse as a sandbox for cruelty. In one chilling twist, the Dark Knights replaced Bruce's very consciousness with that of the Batman Who Laughs, effectively grafting near-limitless cosmic might onto a heart of absolute malevolence. This abomination was the ultimate testament to how far Batman could fall when every moral anchor is stripped away. Some fans argue that for a split second, the real Bruce Wayne resisted. Others claim the final metamorphosis was absolute, leaving no spark of Bruce's original soul behind. Yet even infinite power can't outrun the darkest question of all. What do these stories say about the line between a hero's iron will and the monstrous acts they can rationalize when cornered? So far, if you liked the video, give us a thumb up, following our comics nerdy community, and hit the subscribe button for our next video coming up. From the Red Death's speed-crazed desperation to the Merciless's unyielding thirst for conquest, from Thomas Wayne's brutal vengeance in Flashpoint to the savage mania of the Batman who laughs, each twisted variant of the Dark Knight reveals a facet of Batman's hidden psyche. They stand as cautionary tales, illustrating that even the noblest hero can become a horror under the right or wrong circumstances. These nightmare versions aren't mere offshoots, they're mirrors held up to the core mythology. They ask us to confront uncomfortable truths. How far would we go to protect what we cherish? When does determination become obsession? And if one of the greatest heroes in comics can corrupt himself so completely, is any hero truly safe from their own darkness? In the end, that's the unnerving power of these stories. They don't just shock us with brutality or cosmic terror, they remind us that heroism often hinges on a razor-thin margin. Where do we draw the line between unwavering resolve and destructive fanaticism? That question lingers long after the final page is turned, or the final screen fades to black. Because if the Dark Knight can fall, anyone can.